This is John Zaninovich. Welcome to Move My Mass. You'll be hearing from great guests talk about balancing life and being fit. Hey, Grant. Welcome to Move My Mass.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for coming in. So I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago, met you at CrossFit. Well, I knew you before.
Yeah.
But I think walked into CrossFit and
That's right.
I was like, hey man, here's a known face. I didn't know anybody at CrossFit that time.
I was coaching at that point. I remember you walking in. I was coaching and I remember you walked in. Hey, another farmer.
You were coaching. Yeah.
And I said, hey, there's John. I said, you're farming. We're farmers together. Here we go. So I remember walking in and you walking in and I know this guy.
Makes sense. 5 o'clock in the morning class.
Yeah, I remember that 5 a.m. Those were fun.
Farmer time.
Yeah. Wide awake.
Right. So what got you into CrossFit?
You know, when I got into CrossFit I was 2011. I was actually living in San Diego at the time. I just graduated college. I was going to school down there in San Diego. And there was a gym that the law school paid for. I was in law school. They paid for us to go to a gym. And they said, do you want to try this gym? Do you want to try this class? I said, sure. I don't know anything about it. So I went in and it was called XFit. It wasn't called CrossFit because they hadn't officially paid their $2,000 to CrossFit headquarters. And so I walked in.
And when was this? What year?
2011.
Okay.
It was 2011. I remember, and CrossFit, I think that was the first year it had gotten on TV, so it wasn't quite popular yet. I forgot if it was 10 or 11 when Reebok took over. And I remember that that I went in the gym and I walked in, and all of a sudden they're doing these movements, and I'm like, hey, I remember these movements from high school. It was the first workout was like deadlifts, and I don't remember exactly. It was like deadlifts and a run and something else. I was living in East Village at the time. And all of a sudden I go in and I'm like, I love this. This is my jam. I'm crazy. I like to be a little bit nuts. When I got done, I couldn't walk and everyone else was laying on the floor with me. And I'm like, this is amazing. And so this is what I did. I was like, so for 2 days a week, I was down there doing this. And the gym, I could not remember the name of the gym, but I just remember it was right next to Petco. It was amazing.
Gym or box?
At the time, it was a gym. It was still, it was actually a gym. They actually had it was full on bodybuilders. Like I remember walking in and I knew I didn't fit in at the gym because I remember walking in, there's all these tan, good looking men and women. And they looked like they belonged on South Beach in Miami. Yeah. And I remember walking in and then I walk into this CrossFit class or XFit and I look and I'm around and I'm like, these are my people. Yeah. We're not good looking, but we'll outwork all these guys. We don't have all those muscles.
Right. So how long? You mentioned earlier when we were talking before we came on that you don't do CrossFit anymore. How long did you do CrossFit for?
I quit CrossFit and it was about 2018 when I officially quit going to a CrossFit box, gym box. Yeah. The one I was going to, it sold to another person and it was time for me to just make the clean break. It was good time to leave. So then I had all the equipment in my house. I have rowers. I have a dumbbell and barbells and weights. So I was lifting in my house. I was following CrossFit main site programming. But I wasn't really doing it consistently. I was playing a lot of golf. Right. And that's when I actually got into Jiu Jitsu. I said, hey, I need something else, kind of something crazy to beat me up a little bit. Yeah. And I was missing it. I got fat. I actually gained about almost 17, 18 pounds and said, I need to do something. Yeah. So
Jiu Jitsu will do it.
Jiu Jitsu. I said that was the next best thing. Yeah. So I started going to Jiu Jitsu and I still do that today.
So I know you did stop doing CrossFit, but what'd you like most about it? What did you enjoy about CrossFit?
To me, the methodology of CrossFit was the original methodology. I think it's transformed, and I think they're trying to get back there now that this new Eric Rosa, I think it's Rosa, bought it. Okay. But when Greg Glassman started, I think that the methodology of CrossFit was still, it's amazing. It's functional fitness done at high intensity, whatever their whole motto is. But basically it's, doing things fast. It's not isolating single muscles. It's doing compound movements with 2 or 3 different joints that are moving all in one point. A squat. It's instead of doing like a leg curl, it's a squat. If it's not a deadlift, it's doing deadlifts, not doing, just a straight up leg press. Yeah. And that was what I loved. And I love the fact that it combined that with a little bit of running or a rowing. So you got your cardio, but you moved weights heavy and fast, because nowhere in real life do you ever just say, hey, I want to move I'm going to lift this box with just curling it. No, I'm going to set my back. I'm going to use my legs. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to use some back muscles. I'm going to use maybe a little bit of core here and there. It just, it made a lot of sense. And I felt like it was like, oh my goodness, this is the workout for me. Plus, not to mention, it was a little bit crazy. There's to do CrossFit at that point, it was crazy.
It is crazy.
It is nuts.
I know what's nice, I get to ask you these questions because you taught CrossFit for a while.
I did.
So
7 years.
Yeah. What level were you? What level?
I was a CrossFit level 1. I never went on to level 2. But I went on to I did a level 1, but then I went to some other seminars outside of CrossFit that were other stuff.
Yeah.
And I was really into the CrossFit thing. The one thing I really didn't learn a lot of was the dietitian side. But as far as the movements, I trained with some high level athletes that went on to the CrossFit Games. Becca Voigt, I went down to Becca Voigt's gym quite a few times. I was training with some other high level athletes that went on to do pretty high level things. And it was amazing the level not just being athletes, they were also people that they understood how to do movements right. Yeah. Because my philosophy on CrossFit was always do it right. I know the big thing on CrossFit was, they're doing cheating on pull-ups that's the big one, cheating pull-ups.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're doing pull-ups, if you're trying to do perfectly for muscle building, you're right. The kipping pull-up or the butterfly pull-up is not the right thing. But if you're doing it for a cardio and for the movement of a CrossFit workout, those are good. But the whole idea for me with CrossFit was and training with these people was doing movements right, squatting, hitting full depth, putting your butt all the way to the ground. Yeah. Doing it or as right, doing a pull up, put your chin from the arms hanging all the way up to the top. Everything's right, and I think that's where CrossFit lost its way. I think there got to be a lot of trying to go as heavy as you can. Let's do these Olympic movements. I know that was one of the things that you had talked about. Was kind of a detriment, and I agree. I don't think everybody should be snatching.
Correct.
No, it's a shoulder movement. I'm sorry, but you don't need to be snatching weight at X years old, whatever years old you are. At 20 years old, your shoulders, you're fine. You're not going to hurt. And really, I actually found when I was coaching, women were better at snatching because their flexibility in their shoulders was so much better than men. Yeah. Men tend to have really tight shoulders. And we did. And I say we because I had really tight shoulders and we don't work on it.
Yeah.
Our ego, we like to lift heavy. We don't like to stretch.
And so my experience with CrossFit and the reason I got into it was purely aesthetics. I have to admit, I was already at that time. I was doing a lot of triathlons. Mm-hmm. I was fit, mm-hmm. but I wasn't hard. Mm-hmm. And at that it was all the rage. CrossFit was all the rage. I'm like, well, that'll work. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is it did work. Mm-hmm. But another thing I really liked about it is when you're doing a lot of endurance training, you're moving in the same plane all the time.
Correct.
Whether you're swimming, running, or riding, mm-hmm. you're moving in one plane, just mm-hmm. up and down, forward, back. Mm-hmm. Not side to side or any, mm-hmm. and CrossFit really helped with that. Mm-hmm. In your experience with CrossFit, is there a specific athlete that you think that type of workout helps the most through your years of watching?
My years of athletics, this relates back to me, and I truly believe had I known about CrossFit back in the early 2000s, I graduated high school in 2005. Had I known about it from my wrestling career in high school, that to me would have been that fits wrestling to the T. It fits every sport, really.
Yeah.
And you can adjust CrossFit to what it is, because CrossFit isn't just one workout. It's not just doing pull-ups, just doing deadlifts, just doing snatch, just doing this. It's Correct. A little bit of everything.
It is a little bit of everything. It's a great workout.
It's a great workout. And I think, but in my opinion, I think football players really benefit from it because of the movements they do. You're hitting a guy, you're sprinting, you're hitting a guy, you're sprinting, or as a quarterback, you're taking the snap, you're running, you're pulling back, you're going to go ahead and you're going to I need to, there's no one open, I'm going to go for a run, changing your movements fast. And I think that's what CrossFit really teaches, is teaching movements to adjust and go. It's not like one movement. Like you said, it's not one single plane. You're not going running forward. It's running forward, running backwards, running sideways. Right. It's lifting. It's like all of a sudden I'm going to lift this weight this way, and then all of a sudden I'm going to throw it over my head or whatnot. And I do believe that it fits a lot of athletes. And I don't think there's a sport that it doesn't fit, but I really felt like wrestling was the big one. And now I do Jiu Jitsu, and I think it really fits Jiu Jitsu.
Well, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
So it's totally fitting in. But I think so many people now know what CrossFit is, and they know that there's WODs, workout of the day, mm-hmm. and they know that they have names, or a lot of them have names. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite one?
Fran, by far.
I
love
kind
Fran.
of right.
Everyone loves Fran. Murph is great because of the story behind it. Murph is actually coming up on Monday. It's the 1 mile run, 100, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then a 1 mile run done with a 20-pound weight vest. Love the workout for the idea of it. Michael Murphy, he died and I think it was Afghanistan. I don't remember the exact story, but basically I love the idea of it. Right. But when it comes down to just burning wads.
So you're going to do it?
You know what? I am actually going to do it myself. I'm not going to a gym to do it. I'm going to do it myself. I have stuff at home. I'm going to do the workout.
Right.
It's not something that needs to be done
now
fast.
Repeat it again.
It starts with a 1 mile run.
Okay.
It's 100 push-ups.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 100 pull-ups.
Okay.
200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then a 1 mile run to finish, done with a 20-pound weight vest.
Both runs.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Pull-ups, everything included. It's and you can partition as necessary. Some people like to partition it where they do 5, 10, 15 of pull-ups, push-ups, squats. Some people do it as 100, 200, 300, but whatever it is, you start with the run, you end with the run, and however you get the movements done in the middle, in my opinion is, I don't care how you do it. That's a hard workout. Just finish it. And they call those hero wads.
That's a hard workout.
It's a hard workout. But again, like I said, Fran is my favorite workout because Fran is one of those workouts. It takes you, and
what is Fran?
Fran is 21, 15, 9 of thrusters and pull-ups. Sounds super simple. And have you done Fran?
Yes, I have done Fran.
Okay. Fran to me is one of those workouts that you look at it, no problem. I'll do that like it's nothing. When you get done with it, there was a whole cough named after Fran. And I think it's the whole idea of the cough is that you lack oxygen. So your body feels like it just, you have to cough because you can't get enough oxygen in your blood. But it's got to be the fastest. There's nothing I've felt that competes with Fran. The hardest wrestling match I've ever been doesn't compete with Fran. So my fastest time was like 2:37, flying through it. I mean, there's people that have done sub 2 now, which is crazy. I mean, I don't even know if my body moves that fast. And the weight. So the thrusters are done. A thruster is basically a front squat with a press overhead, and that's done with 95 pounds.
Yeah.
And there's people that have done my time with 135 pounds. I don't even know how they do that.
That's insane.
It's insane. I mean, it's just guys are crazy. But when I get done, you just fall on the ground and you roll around because you can't move because it hurts so bad and it hurts so good.
That's the thing about CrossFit. It hurts so good. But with me personally, I just got tired of being wrecked all the time because you are truly, not in a bad way. I mean, you're wrecked. And if you're doing CrossFit and if you're staying with CrossFit, you enjoy that feeling, which I did.
Yes.
However, if you're doing other things that you're, like I was wanting to train for endurance events, just got a little old. Like, okay, I can't be this wrecked and go train.
Yeah.
So I just had to back off. But it's funny when I was doing CrossFit, and I don't, this is not a scientific or anything, but I did notice the younger the athlete, the more often it seemed like they were the ones getting sick. Because there's a lot of people that have to step outside and go throw up during a workout.
Yes. It's happened more than once.
Yeah. And I used to laugh. I'm like, I think I've done CrossFit at 3 different boxes. I don't know why. Change boxes, but do CrossFit for a while, stop it, and then next time I did it, I want to go back to the same box. Yeah, for no reason in particular, but I did. Yeah, but I did notice it seemed like the younger athletes were the ones throwing up.
Egos. I truly believe it's an ego thing that whether they're in good shape or not, I feel like that they feel like that they have to prove themselves, and I saw that so often. I can specifically remember there was a workout. There was a kid that came in on a Saturday, and I was coaching, and it wasn't very many people. So I said, I'm going to work out. And he shows up and the workout was box jumps and sprints, which is, 2 things that are just killer on your legs and your endurance is just murder. And I remember he does this workout and I just remember I remember he was keeping up with me on the first couple of movements. I'm thinking, man, this guy's in really good shape. Because at the time I was training for competitions. And I never got really good. I wasn't good by any standards, but I was good enough.
You were in shape.
I was in shape and I could compete. I won a competition or 2 here and there, but I was never that good. But I just remember this guy was keeping up with me and he was new. And I'm thinking, man, this guy's good for the first minute. Then about 1 minute in, all of a sudden I saw it come and he just collapses. And I remember he goes to jump on the box and he missed and he fell down. and he just falls flat on his face. And me as a coach, I have to stop my workout and go help him. And I just remember looking at him and I'm thinking, the box didn't kill him. He is literally going to die. I mean, he's 20 years old or 21, 22, whatever he was. And he needs an AED in his life right now. And I remember him looking at me and he goes, I need water. I said, you'll be fine. At that point when he talked, I said, you'll be fine. Just get up. And I said, next time, let your ego out of the way and just know you got to work a little less.
That's with that workout. You have to check your ego
every time.
Yes, for sure.
It was, and we all were guilty of it. I don't know about you. I remember the first time you came in, you actually never really had an ego when I first saw you.
No, I knew better. I took it serious. I knew what I was getting into with CrossFit, and I knew walking in, I'm like, all right, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
I am not a power lifter.
Yeah.
And I just knew, hey, you don't, plus I wasn't a young man.
Yeah. You were what, 40 when you was 41?
40 at that time. And Sean, you don't have to lift the gym to get a good workout.
Yeah.
Lift heavy enough
to
get it done. But and you know what? I had great workouts.
Yeah. And you still died.
Oh, heck yeah. What was funny, and I didn't even care. I'd look around. The women were lifting more than me.
Oh,
I mean, not all of them, of course, but there are plenty of women around me in the gym working, lifting more than me. I just laughed. I'm like, good for you girls.
Good for you. That's all you can say. I remember going to a competition in LA one time, and I remember looking at this workout where the men did the same workout as the women, different times. And I remember the women were doing, I don't remember the exact workout, some pull-ups and some weights, whatever it was. And I just remember looking over at the women's times thinking, I can't do that with their weight. These women are, and to me, what I think CrossFit did, and I think it was a huge benefit to the women, is it really showed people that women can work and be as good, or if not better than men.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just like, wow, I saw women do things that I don't even know a better word for it. They demolished the men.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not every one of them. But it was just like, wow, these women are doing workouts that just like, oh my God, I can't, I don't know I don't even know how you do that.
Right.
You know? And they don't, and everyone said CrossFit made women bulky. I had trained, like I said, with Becca Voigt down in LA or in whatever it was in Burbank. Yeah. And I trained, and I'd been around quite a few of the other, CrossFit women, and they were definitely ripped in terms of solid muscle. I mean, you look at them in a picture and they're, oh my goodness, they are solid. But I never once saw one that I never felt like maybe there's one. I can think of one specifically that was big. I'm 5'9", 200 pounds. At the time I was 185 pounds. Yeah. And I remember thinking, but none of these women are bigger than me. And I'm 5'9", and I'm not huge, but but none of them were bigger than me. They were all pretty petite women or mid-sized women. But
just rock hard.
But the thing where I felt like all top level CrossFitters had, and this is true of any sport. I don't care what sport it is. Triathlon, Jiu Jitsu, golf, women's tennis. It doesn't matter. They all have the mental capabilities to do what they do. And it's every day, day in, day out. Right. You look at women's golf, they all train every day. You look at tennis, any sport, I don't care what sport it is, the top level women. And I think in general, women tend to be tougher than men. I really, truly think mentally they're tougher than men.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
I agree.
It's hard. No doubt. It's hard to admit.
Yeah, it is.
But
so eventually you stopped CrossFit.
Yep.
And what are you doing now?
So right now I do Jiu Jitsu, and I actually just started this gym called Orange Theory. It's a I don't know if Orange Theory is if you call it a gym or like CrossFit, it's got a methodology, a thought process. Okay. And so Jiu Jitsu is Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
A lot of people know what it is. It's rolling. It's very, I trained at a gym that I think it's a great gym, or a great, I guess Jiu Jitsu gym. And it's great, but I love this Orange Theory. I started going to it. My fiance, she started trying it. And so she said, you got to try this. You might like it. She knows what kind of workouts I like. So I said, well, I'll try it. First week, I said, I go to the first 2 workouts. I'm like, yeah, I'll sign up. I'll do it once. It'll be a supplement my training. I said, I'll go. Maybe it's 2 months ago, I guess. Yeah. I said, it'll supplement. I'll go about once a week. That'll be my thing. The first week I went once. I went the second week. I went 4 times the second week, 3 times, whatever it was. Then I went 4 times. And this week I think I've been 5 days. I missed Monday because I went to Jiu Jitsu. The other 3 days I've been to Orange Theory. And the whole theory of the whole idea behind it of Orange Theory is work hard enough in different zones. So you wear a monitor on your arm and you work out and you work out and you work in zones. And there's the ideal zone is orange, and you work out there for, they say 12 to 15 minutes, up to 20. And that's your heart rate's, I don't quote me on this, but it's somewhere in the mid 70s to 85%. And the idea is that when you're in these zones, based on science, and this is true science, I've looked it up before I went because I wanted to make sure, is that the idea is that you burn for the next 12 hours, you still are burning a lot of calories you're in a caloric deficit. So, you're trying to become a caloric deficit. So you burn calories throughout the day. So you do a workout for an hour, but you get 12 more hours of benefit from your workout.
So describe a workout. What?
So
I've never been.
Okay. So yesterday, a perfect example is yesterday we were at the gym. So they've got a treadmill and they've got rowers, and then you do a floor workout. So you start on one of the three. I started on the rower. It was, let's see. Yesterday's workout was you would do 1 minute. You would do what they call Frogger jumps. So basically squats, touch the ground, and then jump up, squat, jump down, touch ground. You did that for, you had a minute to do 20.
Okay.
You got done with a minute. So then you get on the rower. You do 1 minute of what they call all out. So basically goes, with lack of better words, go balls to the wall for 1 minute. Then you took 30 seconds and you went at a little more aggressive pace, but not balls to the wall. So you got a little recovery. Then you did 30 seconds of an all out. Then it was on the rower. Then I don't remember exactly, but basically it was another, you get off and you do something, and you did a little bit of some more Frogger jumps. Okay. Get off there. You leave there. Then you go on the floor. And actually it was kind of like a chipper on the floor, or in a CrossFit chipper. You go on and you do some stuff on the floor. Yesterday was pretty light. You do band. It was a lot of band work, but it was, I'm not gonna lie, I died. My shoulders were burning. You think those bands are easy. And then all of a sudden I did the light band. I was in there with a light band, and I'm in a pool of sweat. Yeah. And I had to bring a towel because I had to wipe my sweat up. And then you leave, and then you do each one for about 20 minutes. And then you go from the floor, and then you go over to the treadmill. And once you go on the treadmill, yesterday was actually a pretty, I don't want to say a hard day, but it was more of a self-guided. So you ran for 14 minutes. Yeah. And so it's 14 minutes of running, and you set the treadmill, and you set the speed, and you start at 1%, and every 1/10 of a mile you ran, you increased it by 1%. So you go up to 8%, which is a pretty good incline on a treadmill. 8%, and then
that is a very good incline. Yeah,
let me tell you,
that's tough.
I went from a decent speed, what I thought was decent, because I'm not a runner by any standard of any. There's no one would ever look at me and be like, "Oh, he runs." And so I went from you go from a decent speed to all of a sudden I got to the top, and I'm like, I'm done. And then they're like, "Oh, but you're not done with the 14 minutes isn't up. So you have to stay here and then start decreasing your incline." So it wasn't like go back to, flat ground. It was, hey, decrease by 2%. But I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
But the problem is I look around and I see people and I'm like, no, I maybe still have a little bit of cross mentality. And I'm like, no, they're still running. I better do it.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Because I get competitive. I get really, it's not necessarily the most competitive gym, but I get competitive. I got a good friend that goes with me, and I look over at him, and we give each other a hard time.
That's what it's all about.
Oh, I love it. Because to me, it's and my fiance goes, and we always get done with the workout and we compare. We like, hey, what'd you do? And I'm like,
right.
Oh, you did this? Well, I did this. And she's like, yeah, I'm 5 foot tall and a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't care. I beat you.
Right.
Or she'll be like, I beat you. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I've heard, I see the gym and drive by it and know people that do it. I just never heard what the workouts are.
Best part about it, Starbucks is across the way. So when you get done, you get Starbucks. I love Starbucks.
Treat yourself a little bit.
Berry hibiscus refresher all day long. All that sugar all that fat I burned, I just put it back on in sugar.
That's okay.
Yeah. So
I was watching you on Instagram. This is, I think, a few months ago, but I saw you doing handstand walks.
Oh, handstand walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I knew you've done CrossFit, and I didn't realize you were doing Jiu Jitsu at that time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to have him on the podcast, just forgot all about that. And, but it was funny, before we came on, you were mentioning that golf is your number one love.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Absolutely.
You're so extremely fit and strong. And I'm like, how do you do it all? Like, I see you go on fishing trips too.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy fits in a full life.
Yeah.
So how do you do it?
We both.
You just do it.
I just do it. It's one of those things. As a farmer, my friends give me a hard time because sometimes we get times off as farmers. During harvest we are busy. There's nothing we can do from December 15th to June 1. I am pretty busy. There's not a lot. I mean, I don't have a lot of time for stuff, but come June 1, I call it what it's, it's watching the grass grow. It's watching the trees just grow. It's looking for problems, but there's not a lot you can do. It's not something that's going to happen every day. Yeah. So I do a lot. I take a lot of time and I do it from June 1 to December 15th, sometimes December 31st. That's just kind of my thing. And, everyone says they don't have time. And to me, it's just do it.
Make time.
I do my workouts. It's like, I just, sometimes I'll get a half hour here and there. The other day I was bored. I was watching a movie. I was actually watching Bloodsport, Jean-Claude Van Damme, one of the greatest movies ever.
Well, that'll get you pumped up.
It got me pumped up. So you know what I did? I have a, it's not a Peloton because I'm too cheap for a Peloton and I didn't want a $2,000 clothes hanger. So I bought one from Costco and I put my bike in front of the front of the TV and I was sitting there, just rode my bike. Nice. Right in front of the TV because I was like, I don't know what else to do. And I'm going to either lay on the couch, which isn't necessarily comfortable. So I was like, I'm going to ride a bike. And so I just did. It's just something you do. You either make time or you don't. And if you don't make time, then, I'm not blaming. I'm not going to, say, oh, you don't have, you can mad at you. It's not my thing. I make time.
Right.
I got 2 stepkids.
Speaking of making time, when you are in season, how do you do it? When you're picking cherries, things are going on.
You do things at night. You do things at night.
Is that where your time is?
Yeah. My time's at night. Cherries start, we start picking. This year was actually, because it was so warm, we started picking earlier. Normally we start at 7 a.m. My guys start at 7. This year we were starting at 6. Yeah. So I was out there at 5:15, 5:30 at the latest. And we would work, they would work from 6 to noon, 6 to basically 12:30. By 2 o'clock, the whole field was empty.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone home, And so I would just make time in the afternoons. That's my thing. And the other thing is, as a farmer, you tend to get up early. You know this. You're a great farmer. You get up earlier. I get up at 5:30, 6. Yeah, 6 is a late day.
Right.
I get up but by the time when I get up, I'm going. I don't sit around and have coffee and wait 30 minutes or an hour. I get up, take a shower and go. I'm out the door. I'm 30 minutes from the time I wake up to the time I'm out the door. Usually, just because I'm like, what am I going to do? Sit here and do nothing?
Right.
Or I can do something. So I get my day started. I go do what I need to do. Excellent. I get it done. Yeah. Sometimes if I know I have to do something, I'll go to the office. I'll get that done before I go out to the ranch and, go run around the ranch and then look around. And then I go home and and the other thing is sometimes I'll do a noon workout or a 1 o'clock workout and then I'll go back to work. That is my lunch. I'll go have a quick bite to eat and go eat and then go work out.
Yeah. And do you have a routine for the week normally? I know you just started Orange Theory and you also do Jiu Jitsu now.
Yeah. So
do you have Monday, Wednesday, Friday is Orange Theory and Tuesday?
Orange Theory kind of fits in anywhere. It's crazy because the classes are so full that you have to just sign up so far in advance. But basically Jiu Jitsu, I try to go at least 2 days a week, sometimes 3. I go Mondays for sure. I try to go Wednesdays or Thursdays and then I'll fit a Saturday in there.
Yeah.
And then
And how long are you there when you do it?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
It's about an hour and a half. It's almost exactly an hour and a half. You could do a little longer if you had to, but I don't really want to because I get beat up so bad. I'm not very good at it. I just do what I do. And so I, get beat up and that's about all I need. Orange Theory is an hour on the dot and Orange Theory is 4 minutes from my house, 3 minutes from my house. So I can leave my house. That
makes it nice.
And it's about an hour and 7 minutes by the time I leave my house, go do the workout and get back to my house. So a lot of times with Orange Theory now it's getting hot. I'll leave, I'll go do the workout and then I'll run home and jump in the pool. First thing.
Right.
Just cool off.
Right.
Yeah.
And how often are you golfing?
I haven't golfed a lot lately just because,
just wrapping up the cherry deal.
Yeah, wrapping up the cherry deal. I didn't golf during cherry season. It was a pretty bad cherry year, so it was actually not as long as normal. It was only about 10 days. Yeah. I'll try to golf 1 or 2 days a week. That's kind of my thing. I at least go hit balls once a week and then play up, once during the week, I'll go play in the afternoon and then maybe play on a Sunday morning, go have coffee. I do get up, have coffee, and then I go play golf. And then
what do you shoot now?
Any day of the week, it changes. 74, 5, 3. I don't know, somewhere in there.
That's ridiculous.
I think I'm a 3 handicap.
That's ridiculous.
Something like that. Yeah.
I just have to ask that way. If we ever golf, I do not golf.
Okay.
I think I'm a 103. No,
perfect. Perfect.
Just got to know for the money rounds, I just got to know.
I will never play you for money if that's the case. Yeah.
But speaking of golf, and you've golfed for a long time.
Yeah, I've golfed since I was a young kid.
Yeah. Do workouts ever screw it up?
Yeah. Actually,
are you really thinking ahead of time? Okay, I got to play on Saturday or whatever. All right, don't do this workout, or you just rock life.
Usually I don't care. we play a money game. We got a little money, goes never too much money. So we play a little bit, not too often. There's a few tournaments a year that, I really pay attention to. One of them is, we've got one in October that comes up, and that one I take about 3 days off beforehand, just automatic.
Yeah.
Especially in CrossFit. Now that I do Orange Theory and Jiu Jitsu, neither one of those really affected too bad. You get a little tight, but you don't feel beat up. Where CrossFit, there was times that, like we just talked about, you felt almost like you got beat up.
It's that tender sore. There's a different sore versus.
It was like joint soreness versus muscle, because I could deal with muscle soreness all day long.
Yeah.
It was joint soreness, and so those ones I would take a couple days off, and then there's a few other tournaments a year that and I say tournaments, I'm no good. I'm just an average local golfer, but they're fun. Right. It's for my buddies and there's a lot of bragging rights. The money is minimal. It's the bragging rights that get when you get done, and so we play those. And but I don't typically care. I typically just do my thing, and I play golf. And I remember. There was one, I ran half marathons. I've run, 10 of them now.
You've run 10 half marathons on top. All right. We'll just keep adding to the list. I love it.
So I was not good at half marathons. I was doing CrossFit, and my mom, go back, I just kind of throw a little wrench into the whole thing. My mom, for a long time while I was in high school, gained a lot of weight. I mean, she got up really heavily. And so she decided one day when I got to college, she was a smoker for years. Yeah. So one day when I got to college, it was 2008, I think I remember when she quit. She looks at me and goes, "I'm going to quit." And I laughed. I said, "Okay, whatever. I've heard this 10,000 times." She goes, "No, I'm really done." She goes, "Do you want to go for a run?" I go, "Well, you can't run. You're heavy and you smoked." And that's not being mean. That was a fact.
Right.
My mom's 5'5", and she weighed probably close to 200 and something pounds, 205 pounds. And she said, "I'm going to run." I said, "Well, let's go. Love it." She goes, the first day we ran probably half mile, and she walked probably 0.48 miles of it, but she ran just a little bit.
Yeah.
And the next week she ran we walked 0.47, ran 0.3.
Yeah.
And she went from there, and all of a sudden it was within a year. I remember my mom, she just decided, she was like, "I'm going to run a half marathon. I'd love it. I'd love to see it." So she started running 5Ks and then 10Ks. And then within a year she started losing weight. Maybe it was a year and a half. She lost enough weight where she ran a half marathon. She wasn't fast. She did it. And so I'm like, well, if my mom can do it, and my mom at the time would have been, that'd have been 2008. So she would have been 40 or 51.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she would have been 51. And I said, I can do it. I said, "Hey, if you're really serious about this, I'll run with you."
Yeah. And
I said, "I'm not going to be good. I'm not going to train. I'm just going to, I'll try a little bit." And I did. Right. So I remember running. It was the LA at Night half marathon. It was my first one. And I don't even know if it's around anymore. I think they got rid of it.
I'm not sure.
It was a cool run. Yeah. It was at night. You ran from downtown LA up to Dodger Stadium, and then you ran back, and you ran through Dodger Stadium. Anyway, and I remember running with my mom. It was the coolest thing, because my mom, she lost all this weight. My mom got down. She lost like 70 pounds, 65 pounds, just running every day. Right. And it really inspired me, because it was one of those things where she went, I remember the one that really impressed me was she went to Orlando, and she ran a 5K one day, 10K the next, half marathon the next, and a full marathon the 4 days in a row. And I just go, she is at the time 54, 55, 53, whatever she was, 54, 55.
That's insane.
Insane. And I go, at the time I'm 25, and I'm thinking, she can do this. I'm lucky to run a 10K. Yeah. And I just remember, I said, "Mom, I'd love to do it with you one time." And so that was one of the things that my mom and I really bonded over.
That's inspiring.
It was crazy. It was, a smoker. She smoked since I think she told me she started smoking at 13 years old.
Yeah.
And now, and it was just one of those things that, oh my goodness, she can do it. I'm going to run with her. And that was kind of one of the ways we bonded. Really, we always were close, but we really bonded over the running, because, and honestly, is that when you're working out, you don't talk, right? But there's still communication going between you without talking.
Totally is.
And that was something that was really, that really inspired me to become a runner, or do runs. Let's not call myself a runner. To do runs.
Right.
And I heard you on one of your podcasts talking about Tough Mudders, and I want to bring this up. One of your you were talking with, is it Scott? Is that it?
It's probably Scott.
It was Scott. You were talking about getting shocked electric.
Yeah.
So I remember this. I did a Tough Mudder in Reno.
Oh, you did?
I did the Tough Mudder. It was a full 12 miles, 13 mile. And I remember the shock. It hurts like hell. I hate being shocked. I remember the first one. So you get to the top of the mountain, you run you run about 5 miles up the mountain, you get shocked, you're crawling through water. You're already, and what they don't show is they just put basically a piece of tarp over rocks. So your knees are already getting cut up.
Okay.
And you're getting shocked on top. So there's no good way to exit this. So the only way to go is fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, you finish that. Then you get to the end, and then you run. The one you're seeing is at the end. They run through. They've got the hanging nodes where they can shock you. And I remember I went to do this. So a gal was in front of me. So they start you in heats. So everybody kind of finishes different. And I remember this gal in front of me finishes. She's getting ready to run. She's nervous. And I could see her kind of getting ready to run. And she stops, gets ready to run, stops. And I'm like, just go. Like, just quit being a weenie.
Yeah.
Just go and do it. Like, we all got to go. Well, so she decides. So she gets back at about 15 yards back and goes at a full sprint. And you got to run through water. You know, it's what, ankle deep, almost knee deep, depending on where it's at. Yeah. And I remember she gets through probably a quarter of the way. There's like, what, maybe 10 hanging. She gets through about 3 of them, 2.5, 3 of them, whatever. And all of a sudden it must have hit her. Because I remember it buckled her. And it was one of those things she lost all control and face plants. I mean, just full on flat. I mean, just it almost looked like somebody took a board and tied a board to her back and flattened her and dropped her. And when I was listening to your podcast and you and Scott were talking about those, and I laughed because I was like, I saw that live and then I had to go through it. And I'm like, so there's no good way to do this because if I run, I get through faster, but that may happen to me, or I go slow and I get hit a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so what do you do here? So I just kind of jogged through it. And I remember getting hit and it was like, whoa, oh, that hurt.
But did you get a big one?
I got a big one, but it was one of those things that was like my whole goal in life was to focus on not being the next YouTube video.
Right.
So I just got through it but I could see where because it just all of a sudden hits you and it's like, ugh, it freezes you up.
I highly recommend anybody getting on YouTube, Google and searching Tough Mudder
shocks.
I've already said this, I think, on like 3 podcasts, but I'll sit there and roll. I'm in tears watching these people just get locked up.
So I couldn't help but laugh because I feel bad saying this. I couldn't help but laugh, but I'm also the same person that was, I have to run through this. Because through in Tough Mudders, you can go around obstacles, but if that obstacle is at the finish line and there's a lot of people watching,
you're not going to go around.
You're not going around an obstacle.
No way.
And especially my mentality. There was a group
There's
of us.
no way you do it. Go around.
You can't go around an obstacle, especially that one. Because it's not like you can't climb or you can't do this. It's literally just getting shocked.
Yeah.
And all I could think about was, I'm going to be the next YouTube video.
Right.
And then luckily I got through and I never did another Tough Mudder. I want to do another one. I want to do one of the Spartan races, but I haven't quite gotten around to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Scott and I are going to sign up for one.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
It'd be totally fun.
You guys you're a runner.
What's next on your agenda? I mean, you've done so much. What's next?
I stick with Jiu Jitsu right now. I still play golf. Orange Theory is a great, stay fitness. I don't really have an agenda as far as where I'm going to go. I'm really random. I just take the day as it comes and take things as they come and see what happens. I don't know. I don't know. There's not much more I can do that I want to do.
So what's your advice for, people, because you're so full of life and you just get things done. What's your advice for people to get it done? Like, hey, I don't have time to work out, or I don't want to work out. What's your advice?
So maybe I'm going to probably, I know this is a loaded question because you know my answer, and it
is loaded.
It is.
Yeah, I want to hear
you just got to get it done. I mean, there's no other way to do it. There's always time. I think we had talked about this a while. Joe Rogan says, he's doing 12 hours a day of stuff, but he still finds a couple hours a day to get done. I mean, you don't need 2 hours, but sometimes it's okay. Just get up and go for a walk.
Right.
Anything you do is better than nothing you do.
That is so true.
There's nothing, it's actually funny because there's been more than one time I've seen somebody running on the side of the road, and I've not on a busy road, I won't do it, but on a short road, I'll roll my window down and I'll yell, get it done, get some, get it, the old, what's his name? What's the Navy SEAL we were just talking about?
Oh, yeah, David Goggins.
Just get some.
Yeah.
And I've yelled out, just get some, and people look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, no, I just really enjoy watching people get fit.
Yeah.
I absolutely love fitness.
For me, the coolest thing to always see is the person that is pretty out of shape at the gym.
Yes.
That's always more motivating to me than the super fit person over there in the corner just getting it.
I don't care about the fit.
Like, I dig it.
Yeah.
Like, good for you. You know
how hard that is? The fit guys, he doesn't hurt. He hurts, but it's not the same way. But that person that's in shape, because to me, working out, your muscles burn. Yeah, that's fine. But mentally is where working out's hard. We all know. And anybody that works out is really hard. And that person is fighting their mental demons. I was actually at Orange Theory it was Tuesday. And there was a gal next to me. she was a little bit heavier, and it was fine, not a big deal. But I could tell we were on the rower, and it was rowing for time, and it was rowing for distance. And she said, and I could see her just struggling. She would, she was pulling really hard, and then she would stop. And I pulling really hard, and you could tell she was just fighting it, but she overcame it. It was fun to watch. That is fun to watch. It was fun. I was watching, I'm looking over, and as I'm doing my workout, it made my workout easier focusing on her. And I'm sitting there. Finally, I get done with the workout. I said, hey, I just want to say you kicked ass and you made my workout easier. And she looks at me and she goes, I've never rode more than 1,500 meters in a workout, and I got 2,200 today. And it was so awesome. And I was so happy. I high-fived her.
That is awesome.
How cool is that? I mean, how cool is it to see somebody else working out? Because at the end of the day, all things aside, it's fun to be, encouraging people. I love seeing people be healthy because the healthier you are, the happier you are. I don't care what anybody says. All mental problem, you'll have a whole lot less mental problems being healthy.
So true. And it just seems, it's funny you mentioned that. I think it might be on every single podcast, the mental game, the mental benefit. Mm-hmm. It's true.
How do you, the endorphins, the endorphins is a real thing. I mean, the runner high or the lifter's high or just that feeling, yes, it's horrible. It's really fun to me. What motivates me to work out is everybody suffers. We're all suffering the same when we work out. I don't care if you've got Matt Frazier is a CrossFitter and all, he's doing a workout, and then there's me, and then there's, somebody that's completely out of shape, a 70-year-old woman that just started CrossFit, or a 70-year-old man that just started CrossFit. We're all doing the same, we're suffering the same. Now it may be in different positions in our life, but we're suffering. Yeah. But then when you get done, this is something I always tell people, I've never regretted a workout that I started. I've never regretted a workout.
I know. And I mentioned that on one of my solo podcasts when I talk about staying motivated and getting it done. The only time that I didn't like that I worked out was when I was getting sick.
Yeah.
And didn't realize it.
Yeah.
It'd be after the workout, like, that didn't work. I feel like crap. Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't realize it, but you're getting sick. So hell yeah, that just amplified it, you know? But other than that, I've never, ever.
It's never a bad workout.
Never.
Just getting off the couch doing something. I say the couch. I mean, some people like chair, whatever. Right. Just getting up doing something. You don't need to go do CrossFit. You don't need to do Orange Theory. You don't need to do Jiu Jitsu. You don't need to do anything. Sometimes a 5-minute walk is a good thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just walking and moving is more than nothing. And anybody that just like I said before, doing a little bit of something is better than doing a lot of nothing. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, and you can, everyone's got excuses. You ask me, well, how do you get things done? Well, everyone's got an excuse. There's days I miss workouts all the time. I know I do. I'm not going to sit here and say that I work out every day, but I don't sit there and say, oh, I didn't have time to work out. I was too lazy to work out today.
I just didn't do it today. Which is fine. That's totally fine.
And it's good. Some days you need a recovery. It's
Call a spade. I just didn't work out today.
I just didn't work out because I was watching a movie. Right. Or I wanted to go do this. I don't care.
Or I didn't want to.
Yeah.
That's okay to say too.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, some people are going to have problems saying, well, I didn't have time to work out. Okay. Well, when you were running to Target to pick up your order or whatever you did you park at the end of the parking lot or the front? Did you wait for that front spot? Did you drive around till you got a front spot? Why not just park at the end, that little walk in and walk back? Did you put your cart back? Although I actually just talked to somebody at Cartboy was telling me that they don't actually like when you put your carts back all the time because they get to be out when they're going out picking up carts. That's their break, and they get to text people while they're out on their break. So I've actually I always put my cart back, but now I'm kind of debating.
Walk into the back lot.
Yeah, I'm like, do I debate walk? How do I do that? How do I handle this? But the idea is, did you when you went to Bakersfield's a little bit different because we don't have a lot of buildings, but in general, other people
take the stairs.
Did you have, I mean, did you want to, if you have a big meeting and you're all of a sudden, you don't want to be sweaty going into a meeting with some, a big pitch, we got a pitch or whatever, fine. But take the stairs take a couple stairs. Yeah. Take them, you don't have to do it the whole time. Take the elevator from the 3rd floor instead of the 2nd floor or the 1st floor.
So true.
There's so many things you can do. There is. Fitness is so easy. You don't have to do a class. Fitness is just moving.
That is.
That's all you got to do. Move your mass.
Right. Bingo. Hey, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good time.
Thank you. That was a great time.
All right.